Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise to receive the Vice Chancellor's procession. The procession is led in this afternoon by the Deputy Registrar, Senate Matters, Mrs. Comfort Ehediato. This procession comprises of the College of Medical Sciences, the Dean of Postgraduate School, the Dean of Students, and also Deans of Faculties, Directors of Academic Programs and Institutes, the Inaugural Lecturer, and Principal Officers of our great university, receiving the Vice Chancellor's procession. Greatest Uniben. Great. Thank you. Please, you may be seated. The Vice Chancellor, the visionary and progressive Professor Lillian Mwetian Salami, represented at this lecture by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Ekehwan Campus, a professor of pharmacognosy, Professor Bunyaimin Ainde, Principal Officers of our great university, Provost, Deans and Directors, Professors Emeriti, other professors and scholars here present, government functionaries, the beloved Okolie family, Your Royal Highnesses, students and staff, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you most sincerely to today's inaugural lecture. It is the 306th inaugural lecture series of the University of Benin. Please let's put our hands together. Today's lecture will be by Professor Paulinus Okolie, a professor of toxicology. Will be on the topic and carcinogens with heads on our side. May I now invite the registrar, Mr. Demola Popola, fellow Chartered Institute of Personnel Management and member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, to introduce the Vice Chancellor and everyone on Vice Chancellor's entourage.
Please let's give ourselves a round of applause. Madam Vice Chancellor, kindly allow me to abide by the protocol as duly established by the university's PRO. All courtesies duly extended. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is another celebration today, not only in the life of the inaugural lecturer, but also in this university. I would want to say that I'm not going to introduce the Vice Chancellor, but I'm going to present the Vice Chancellor and members of the Vice Chancellor's entourage. In a balance like this, what we have is presentation of distinguished persons. I'm not fit to introduce the Vice Chancellor, but by duty, I'm qualified to just present her for this audience. The Vice Chancellor of this university is quite well known. If not for the sake of protocol, I possibly wouldn't have mentioned anything about her. But I discovered that every inaugural lecture, you have a new set of members of the audience, the family of the inaugural lecturer, and then friends and scholars from other universities, particularly in the discipline of the inaugural lecturer. And so on the basis of that, kindly allow me to present the number one citizen of this campus and the number one Vice Chancellor of the whole of all the Nigerian university system. The Vice Chancellor of this university, who happens to be the 10th substantive Vice Chancellor and the second female Vice Chancellor of this President Association of African Universities. Thank you. Awarded, and that for the first time in the whole of Africa, Pillar of Education in Africa, awarded to her in Kigali, Rwanda. She, among other things, she was a Director General of the National Institute, and of course has served in different capacities, and she is currently member of the board of Nigerian National Youth Service Corps, a member of JAM board, and many other boards. So when you have such a big offices and assignments, the Vice Chancellor will possibly be available to us only for a while. So she's not physically present, but she's monitoring us online, because this is being online. So it is to present to us Prof The Vice Chancellor has also assigned the job of supervising over this affair today in the hands of one of the very reliable Deputy Vice Chancellors. Our university has three very viable, very efficient Deputy Vice Chancellors. The person presiding over today's event on behalf of Madam Vice Chancellor you have had is the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of our Ekewa campus, where the University of Benin story started from. And so, the Deputy Vice Chancellor and standing in for Vice Chancellor today is Professor William A. Ayinde. Supporting the Vice Chancellor today too, physically, the distinguished Professor of Medicine, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Administration, Professor Mrs. Catherine Okonwa. Very distinguished Professor, this time Pharmacy Fellow, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, winner of many prizes and awards, the distinguished Professor Ray Okolie, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic. The custodian of our books and publication is here today, and he wants to be referred to as Soyo Jonathan Medicine Esquire. The medical sciences is also very busy, but he has somebody very also efficient to stand in for him. And so the Deputy Provost of the college, Professor Mrs. The number one student from campus is the Professor the distinguished Professor of Economics, a winner of several prizes and so many publications here and there, but he's managing the affairs of the students. And the students this 701,000, and it's the only one on top of that 701. So, Professor A.C. Odaro, the Dean Student Affairs. I think the students will have more for their team. Today, the post-day, and of course one of the very honest you can see in the park. You cannot hide it from any crowd. And he's not just tall, he's also full of so many bright ideas. He has lifted the faculty to the very enviable high standard. Professor, I won't Professor Terry Okolie is the lead faculty of life sciences. But we know God is the only thing of life. He's the only thing of life sciences. And of course, we have here the man who has also presided over inaugural lectures here, and who has served as Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic once in this university, the Dean Faculty of Agriculture, Professor David. The Dean Faculty of Arts, Professor the brand new dean of the brand new school of sciences. For those who are familiar with this place, you have not heard of basic clinical sciences. You've been hearing of basic medical. But we're now going clinical. And the man who is the protein dean coming in brand new. Professor VJ and Ekane. For basic medical sciences, distinguished the Dean School of Dentistry, Amori. The Dean Faculty of Education, of course, the Dean where our Vice Chancellor comes from, Professor Kingsley Amori. The Dean of the very viable the very winsome Professor E.A. Ogunjo, Dean. The Dean Faculty of Environmental Sciences is represented today by the Dean of Medicine, who is wearing an outfit that is a little bit different from others. The Dean of Medicine is no other person than Professor Winston Okolie. The Dean Faculty of Pharmacy is represented here by Professor NP Okolie. Okay. And then, of course, the Dean, whenever I call his name, because the name is somehow one of those things I'm learning in the School of Language. Professor Okolie. Representing the Dean Faculty of Social Sciences, Dr. Professor Okolie is the Director of the Distance Learning Program of this university, and of course, a distinguished professor of medicine. Professor Okolie is the Director of Entrepreneurship. Organizational Technology, Professor Hassan Oahena, the Director of ITTO Office, Intellectual Transfer Office, Professor NP Okolie. A distinguished woman is to be presented next, Director of the Center of Technology, Center of Excellence in Aquaculture and Fish Technology, Professor Mrs. Ishoma Obo. Professor Tito Ayewu is the Director of Juve Program. The Director of Advancement Office is advancing this university in all spheres. Is Professor Eddie and Professor Mrs. is the Director of Advanced Digital Engineering. Professor Aye is the Director of Student Guidance Council. From Ekewa Campus, the Director of the Institute of Education. Professor Dr. Mrs. Anne F. Iyam, the Acting Director of the Institute of Education. Also coming from Institute from Ekewa Campus, Dr. Ivo Ogato is the Acting Director of IDA. And of course, the Vice Chancellor of the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the Senate Matter, Mrs. C.I. Engiato. Ladies and gentlemen, for me to proceed. We had the name Ngozi. When I had with the school, Ngozi, we were just ladies. But we now know that even as a professor in the field, we will have Ngozi in the house. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's an pleasure and privilege to invite the Acting Vice Chancellor to present the visitor's address.
Great Uniden. The voice in response is a very weak one, and I know we are very happy that's why we came here. Let the people at the gate and, if possible, at the supermarket know that we are here celebrating our own. Great Uniden. Thank you. That's like someone who was eating. Let's add one like someone who drank something before we came. Great Uniberg. Thank you very much. Principal officers of this great university, Provost, College of Medical Sciences, deans of various faculties and schools, directors of institutes, members of council and senate of this great university, my lords, spiritual and temporal, semi and retired professors, staff and students of this university, distinguished invited guests, and friends of the University of Benin, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I bring greetings, warm greetings from our dear Vice Chancellor, who loved to be here to preside over this occasion, but from what the registrar and the PR already told us, she has a lot of responsibilities. Being the chairperson of all Nigerian University Vice Chancellors and with other appointments as they have mentioned. It is in light of that she has asked us to represent her at this occasion. We pray God bring her back safely. It is with great delight that I welcome you all to the 306th in the Inaugural Lecture series of this university. Today's lecture is the 77th to be delivered in my tenure as the Vice Chancellor of this university. Thank you. The Faculty of Life Sciences in the Department of Biochemistry. I'm pleased to inform you that the 2022-2023 has ended. Returning admissions and newly admitted students are expected to come into halls of residence on Sunday 28th of this month to commence the first semester of the 2023-2024 academic session. I want to commend all stakeholders, particularly academic and non-academic, for their efforts in bringing the to near normal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our lecturer for today. He is Professor Prof NP Okolie. I forgot to add one more thing because it's already at the moment. The title of his lecture is Toxins, Poisons, and Carcinogens with Herbs on our side. Professor NP Okolie was born on the 3rd of July 1956 to Captain George Dixon Okolie Okolie and Madam Regina Edokuru Okolie Okolie, both of blessed memory. He had his primary education at Sacred Heart School, Umoma, from 1962 to 1967. He attended Airport Boys Secondary School, Ihiana, from 1970 to 1974 to obtain West African certificate in Division 1. In 1975, he sat for London Ordinary Level General Certificate of Education and had an outstanding performance in distinction grades in English and Physics. He gained admission to the University of Benin in 1976 to study biochemistry and was the best overall student in the Faculty of Science. In the 1977-1978 academic session, thereby winning a scholarship which he retained in the graduate level. Thank you. He also received a 15 Naira prize as the best biochemistry student in 1978-1979 academic session. He graduated in the Department of Biochemistry in 19 despite having had a car accident and writing his final year examinations and defending his PhD project in the orthopedic ward of the University of Benin Teaching Hospital. Professor Okolie undertook the 1-year Professor Okolie has held several administrative positions in this university, which include departmental timetable and examination officer 1992 to 1995, Faculty of Science representative, Central Entrance Examination Committee 1999 to 2000, Congregation representative to Senate 2002 to 2007, Member University Research and Publication Committee 2004 to 2007, Administration Officer Faculty of Life Sciences 2005 to 2007, Hall Body Ekenwa Campus 2005 to 2009, Vice Chancellor's Nominee Board of University Limited Enterprises Limited 2007 to 2009, PTA Chairman Limited Demonstration Secondary School 2008 to 2010, Senate Representative in Teacher Attendance Board 2010, Head Department of Biochemistry 2010 to 2013, Chairman Departmental Graduate, Department of Biochemistry 2018 to date. Outside the University of Benin, Professor Okolie has been the President of Community Intellectual Union. He belongs to several professional bodies and associations, some of which include Mainland Nigerian Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, Mainland Nigerian Society for Experimental Biology, Mainland New York Academy for Sciences, Mainland American Society for the Advancement of Science. Professor Okolie has supervised 8 PhD and numerous MS theses. He has over 80 articles in local, national, and international reputable journals, and he has also co-authored a book. Professor Okolie has served as expert examiner and professorial assessor for many Nigerian universities. He has served in accreditation panels of the Nigerian Universities Commission. Professor Okolie is a devout Christian and Eucharistic minister. He loves to play golf, read, and listen to music. He is happily married to Dr. Mrs. Rosalie Funmilayo Okolie, and the union is blessed with 4 children only. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite his lecture.
Thank you very much. Permit me to rely on the existing protocols, which I'd like to, first of all, dedicate this lecture to Almighty God, and secondly, to my departed parents, Captain George Okolie, a Second World War veteran, and my mother, Mrs. Regina Okolie. I'm glad to deliver this 306th inaugural lecture in the University of Benin, which, as you have already been told, is the 9th in biochemistry department, but it's very first on the very interesting subject of toxicology. Thank you. Well, toxicology was started by our earliest ancestors, cave dwellers, when they identified some toxic plants and used them for hunting and warfare. As early as 1500 BC, there were records on the fatal use of metals, arrow poisons, and opium on human beings. It is clear that the wickedness of man didn't start today. With time, the application of poisons assumed a wider, more sophisticated dimensions, with celebrity victims such as Cleopatra and Socrates. However, we owe the existence of modern toxicology to a Swiss alchemist and a physician who is called Paracelsus, who made the famous statement, sola dosis facit venenum. Put in terms of childlike simplicity, he's saying that nothing is safe, not even drinking water. That it is the dose that makes a distinction between a remedy and a poison. A thirsty person would like to take maybe a glass of water or two, or for those who take beer, a bottle of beer or two. But that's a remedy. But by the time you take a carton of beer, you will now see that it's no longer a remedy, it's now a poison. The same thing with water. Many people think that water is safe. That's not correct. Try drinking a drum of water. Now you will know that water is not safe. So nothing is safe. It is the dose that makes the distinction between a remedy and a poison. Paracelsus was also able to determine that the toxic effects of poisons were due to specific chemical substances, and that at low doses, these substances were safe, were even beneficial to man, but were very toxic at higher doses. This is the basis of a central dogma in toxicology, which is called dose-response curve. What is toxicology? Toxicology is the study of adverse effects of chemical substances on biological systems, man, plants, lower animals, microorganisms. However, this subject has advanced from research on harmful effects to the safety of these substances, how they bring about their harmful effects, the remedies and antidotes, as well as the maximum permissible exposure limit. Why should we bother with toxicology? Everyone is seated here is breathing air. True or false? Sometimes the air we breathe in might be polluted. In fact, toxicology affects the three states of matter that affect man: solid, liquid, and gas. The food we eat contaminated. This is true, as I said it. And the things that we drink might be adulterated. We shall see later. So toxicology should address everybody seated here. That's why we should bother with toxicology. Now, toxins, poisons, and substances, since this is the first lecture in toxicology, that will have some basic definitions. A poison may be synthetic or natural. What it does is it produces a harmful effect when adequate amounts are taken. On the other hand, a toxin is a poison based. For examples of poison, for instance, otapiapia. Sniper, you know? Then a toxin is a poison, but in this case, it's produced by a living organism. For instance, cholera toxin. So all toxins are poisons, but not all poisons are toxins. A venom is a liquid toxin produced by some animals, for instance, snakes and scorpions, and they're usually administered through a bite or a sting. All venoms are therefore toxins, but not all toxins are venoms. Some people usually find it difficult to differentiate between a poison and a venom. The devices, that's a very clear way of poison and venom. If it bites you and you die, I'm not referring to this, of course. I'm not referring to this. If you are talking it's a poison. However, if you bite it, no. It's a poison. However, if you bite you and die, it's the venom. That is the result of the venom. So it's wrong to say God has eaten snake and died. So snakes are not poison. Snakes are only what? Venomous. Now, there are many. My own area is the area of mechanistic toxicology, which this is the mechanism through which toxic substances bring about the harmful effect. And my research was based on toxicology of cyanides, bromate, cycacin, arsenic, dimethyl, nitrosamine, malondiazide, and phosphine. I first became interested in toxicology in 1987 when I did my MSc research, which was based on trying to investigate what happens when cassava tubers are fermented to produce akpu. Please, this fufu we are talking about is not fufu. Fufu is anything that can be pounded and eaten with soup. It's called what? Akpu. That's what I studied. But for it has an offensive odor, which puts off many people. Now, cyanide is a respiratory poison. Medical doctors here will know that cyanide, the nerve cells of the respiratory center are highly sensitive to hypoxia. So cyanide is a respiratory poison in all aerobic organisms. In fact, death results. For cyanide in man is 1 to 3 milligrams per kilogram. That means if a normal 70 takes between 70 and 210 milligrams cyanide, he'll be dead in 24 hours. But that same poison is contained in cassava. Now, at moderate doses, cyanide causes goiter, that small growth you have on the neck. And it also causes weakness in the legs, which we call spastic paraparesis. Now, how do you tackle the offensive odor? Offensive odor limits the commercial value of food. In my research, microorganisms involved in mixed culture fermentation of cassava, and we show that cassava softening during controlled fermentation using one of the isolates, Cystobacter friendly, was due to microbial cell wall degrading enzyme. This was published in a British journal, Okolie and Goshku, 1988, Journal of the Science of Food and Agriculture. We also identified the microbial culprit that is causing that smell in akpu, so that even if you wash your hand with perfume soap, you can always say this person has just finished working akpu. And for the very first time, this is very important, we produce an odorless, low cyanide fufu through controlled fermentation using 4 organisms: Cystobacter friendly, Trichum species, Candida species, and yeast, Saccharomyces species. This finding was so important that it was published in a top British journal that's Food Chemistry, volume 44, by Okolie, Ibe, and Goshku, 1992. Madam VC, this finding may be used for, thank you very much. This finding is considered important, but it can be used for production of commercial quantities of fufu, both for local consumption and also for export to earn scarce foreign exchange. Moreover, artisans eat akpu despite the smell. Many students enjoy the middle class has traded that because of hardship. The only exception possible by the vice chancellor and principal officers. Not many people know that it's even much higher than cassava. And we studied 9 varieties of beans. And just one, the Canavella glaciatus, the one that has a big seed. And we found cyanide levels as indicated. The values are in red. You can see from those values that the cotyledon has the least amount of cyanide. Highest amount of cyanide, this poison is contained in the tester. And so it might not be a bad idea to soak beans in water and remove the tester before boiling. And we found that soaking of beans in water, removal of the tester, and prolonged boiling, 2.5 hours, reduce cyanide to practically innocuous levels, 37 to 90 milligrams per kilogram. And this was published again in the top British journal, Okolie and Goshku, 1989. Thank you. Madam Vice Chancellor, obviously, one of the very popular forms in which beans is eaten is the moi moi. And we found that in our study that moi moi cooked in open cups. We compare with the one cooked in cellophane wraps, and we found that the one cooked in cellophane wraps was safer in terms of content of residual cyanide. And this was published Okolie. And Omegborele is the younger sister of Mike Omegborele, who was my student. Okolie and Omegborele, 1999. Now, with these studies on cyanide toxicity and how it can be alleviated, what we did in our study, Madam Vice Chancellor, each time we identify a problem, we try to find a solution to it. We showed that cyanide inhibited activities of the various ATPases. This is a very important enzyme that maintain membrane potential, and some of them are also involved in solid transport. This was published in another top journal, Comparative Biochemistry and Physiology, Okolie et al. 1994. We also found that cyanide damaged various tissues of rabbits, lung, kidney, and liver. This was published in Food and Chemical Toxicology, Okolie and Osage 1999, Okolie and Osage 2000. However, cyanide had no effect on the pancreas, which means that cyanide may not predispose to diabetes. Another finding is that cyanide caused urinary enzyme excretion in rabbits, Okolie and Uguweta 2002. Urinary enzyme excretion is a marker to kidney tubes. That's kidney tubes. Moreover, cyanide due to depletion of ocular antioxidants, maybe enzymes, vitamin C, beta-carotene, and all that. And more importantly, it disrupts calcium homeostasis. Accumulation of calcium in the lens causes cataracts. So cyanide induced cataracts through these processes. This was published in two articles, Okolie and Oshobase 2003, Okolie and Ad 2004. Madam Vice Chancellor, I just forgot that I didn't put on my glasses, please. Permission. I've been studying. I see clearly now. Thank you. We discovered that when these rabbits given cyanide are also given antioxidant vitamin mix, vitamins A, C, and E, this vitamin mix, antioxidant vitamins, reversed these deleterious changes, cataracts in rabbits. Okolie and Professor Sonye in optometry, 2004. And it also protected rabbit tissues from cyanide-induced damage, Okolie and Iroya, 2003. Madam Vice Chancellor, you notice that so far I've been talking about rabbits, because Nigeria was once good. Those days we could afford rabbits for 350. I don't think I'm thinking that you can eat it. My wife will contain rabbits are fantastic meat. Fantastic meat. How you have decline as a sensation. It's very sad. Now, another study was bromate. Madam Vice Chancellor, maybe I should be saying Vice Chancellor, sir. Madam Vice Chancellor, Nigerians are exposed, one of the toxins to which Nigerians are regularly exposed is bromate. Through what? Bread and biscuits. Bromate is carcinogenic. This is confirmed. You can browse, even as I'm talking, browse. If you have an iPhone, bromate is a confirmed kidney carcinogen. As a matter of fact, it has been banned in many EU countries. The use of bromate has been banned. While bromate is an oxidizing agent, what it does that it makes the dough to rise. I won't bother you with the measures because of time factor, but if you must know, it oxidizes the SH group in gluten, the protein in wheat, making the bread to rise when you add yeast. Carbon dioxide makes the bread to rise. Bakers have continued to use this bromate, despite the fact that several studies have shown that bromate is both carcinogenic and mutagenic. Studies by Kurokawa et al., Ishitade et al., Mumure et al., Watanabe et al., and a whole lot of other scholars have confirmed this. So what do we do? We study class type of bread from north, south, east, west. Madam Vice Chancellor, this bread we studied, they are not the Talakawa type of bread. It's the type of bread that you find in breakfast tables of principal officers and vice chancellors. And we found bromate levels, ppm. That will not ring a bell until you realize that NAFDAC and the Food and Drug Administration of the United States of America recommended a maximum level of 0.025 in bread. Look at what we have here, 1 to what? 16 ppm. Very much higher than the recommended level. Yet these bread samples, these bread products bear bromate-free labels. These bakers are dishonest. Without that dishonest. So money to buy cancer. Use our money to buy a better hospital. Or what still a space in the morgue. Please want. Now we discovered that after I published this paper, I sent a copy to the then DG of NAFDAC, Dora Kunle, and she wrote me personally to commend me for that publication. But that publication was put in a top American journal, Bulletin of Environmental Contamination and Toxicology. Okolie and Osorede, 2003. Now, after NAFDAC banned bromate in 2004, we did a follow-up study to find out whether bakers have started complying. For where? In this case, 49 bread samples and 5 biscuit products have bromate levels of 0.48 to 0.65, Okolie, Uku, and Oyema. We also found that bromate caused ocular oxidative damage and cataracts in rabbits, Okolie and Ikewushi, 2004. Now, having identified this problem, what should we do? And spices as remedies for these poisons and toxins. First of all, a student and I reported antioxidant properties of seeds of a ginger species called Aphamomium augustifolium. Due to its high content of antioxidants, this was published in Bohime et al. 2017. And we discovered that this that's the plant there, very beautiful plant, the ginger. Discovered that this plant extract was able to ameliorate bromate-induced damage in the kidney of rats. The first one there, the topmost one, is normal control. The one at the middle is where the photomicrograph from a rat giving the bromate, and you can see the damage. Those dark spaces are due to infiltration of lymphocytes and also tubular necrosis. Now the one below is the one that took the bromate and the extract. You can see it's as good as the normal. So those who must eat bread regularly, look for this spice and add it, use it to make soup. Use it, add it, it's not toxic, add it to your nutrition to protect yourself from the first level of bakers. Sources of toxins to call otapiapia is sold in the market in the form of phostoxin, that registered name. It's actually aluminum phosphide. It's used as an insecticide and a rodenticide. It kills insects, it kills rats. That's the meaning. That reaction there in the equation shows that when aluminum phosphide comes in contact with water, it releases that gas in red, phosphine. Very, very toxic gas. That's what kills insects. That's what kills rats. Phostoxin is also very toxic in humans. Indeed, a study by a pathologist, Ahiwu et al. In year 2000, shows that phostoxin was the commonest route of suicide in Benin City. That was year 2000. Now, if we consider the way the economy is now, it's very possible that people are still quietly taking otabapia. If you go to sleep, no more school run, no school fees, no money for hair for the wife. So the Taji, as we say, is responsible. No one can be expected from a system that the Taji has worked. Everyone are dead. So who may still be doing it? Now, the study I do with the pathologist, Aligbe, we showed that rabbits given phostoxin had marked decreases in ATPases in various tissues, And they also had marked decreases in blood parameters like red blood cell count, hematocrit, and they also had evidence of tubular necrosis. This was published in a big Indian journal, Indian Journal of Experimental Biology, Okolie, Aliba, and Osakwe, 2004. Now, this is very important. I will take a little while here. I hope the Vice Chancellor will understand. Welders and food vendors. Welders use calcium carbide to generate the acetylene gas which they use for welding. Now, this is good acetylene, so and it contains some hazardous contaminants such as phosphine, which was vehicle to a welder to weld the exhaust, and he asks the boy to bring carbide, push in that chamber, run away. Is also featured in this air. Now, another source of this poisoning is fruit vendors. Fruit vendors use carbide to force fruits to ripen. As I know the word bleach, because these fruits are not really ripe. It's only the epica, it's the skin that bears to be ripe. The mesocarp and the pericarp are raw. So the fruit is tasteless. And when you eat such fruit, a lot of problems. Calcium carbide is alkaline, so it erodes the mucosa of the mouth, causing mouth ulcers, and it also causes difficulty in swallowing, causes intestinal problems. More importantly, it causes kidney failure. So you must avoid buying fruits that are ripe with calcium carbide. Wait for the fruit to drop from the tree. First of all, the study I did with Okolie Ozola, Deputy VC, who is sitting here, Ozola and Osage, 2005, we found that crude acetylene inhalation in rabbits decreased PCV and decreased tissue antioxidants and blood levels of transaminases due to liver damage. If you look at that diagram I have there, the first one is naturally ripened Odara, what we call Odara. My in-laws call it Agbalumo. Please, it is not cherry. That is African star apple. It's not cherry. It's wrong to call it cherry. The other one you can see is ripened with carbide. Please do not buy that one. What did I say? That's right. Only the skin and not only this fruit, they do it for mango, they do it for oranges, they do it for pawpaw. Please avoid these substances because they are very, very toxic. Now, studies on lipid peroxidation and malondialdehyde in foods. Malondialdehyde, this thing we abbreviate as MDA, is an index of lipid peroxidation and food spoilage. Consumption of malondialdehyde has been linked to many human cancers. This is true. Now, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, has graded malondialdehyde as grade 2 possible human carcinogen. Lipid peroxidation is also a big problem in the food industry. Why? It causes changes in taste, change in flavor, and accumulation of these foods. Vice Chancellor, when foods are stored in the freezer, they are not preserved. Because studies have shown that even inside the preserved food, malondialdehyde production and peroxidation is still going to compound it. And moreover, the use of synthetic preservatives is being discontinued because of perceived carcinogenicity of these preservatives. So emphasis is moving towards use of herbs and spices to preserve meat and fish during storage. In our study, we studied 75 samples of frozen chicken, turkey, and variety of fish in 5 different markets in Benin City, and we found very high levels of malondialdehyde. As you can see, chicken and turkey, the levels of malondialdehyde, the red one is the turkey, and the chicken is the blue one. Very, very high levels of malondialdehyde. And if you compare with the European Food Safety Authority recommendation, the maximum malondialdehyde intake of an average 70 kg man per day should just be 0.029 millimoles. But see what we got there, they're very high. So when you eat turkey, frozen fish, you are killing yourself with malondialdehyde. Fresh fish, fresh meat not safe. That's what it's going to show.
We also studied this in fish, samples of mackerel, samples of croaker and snapper. These fish species had higher molecular data level than the chicken and beef counterpart. Now, since the synthetic antioxidants are not safe, in fact, in the food industry, they add these to BHA and BHT. Butylated hydroxytoluene and butylated hydroxyanisole. They are not safe because of their perceived carcinogenicity. In fact, if you browse now, you see that emphasis is now on the use of herbal products to preserve meat and fish during cold storage. And don't doubt it, because we did a study.
So this is a fact. You can browse it, you can check it, don't doubt it. I'm not talking out of, I'm talking pure science.
Now my health and helpful. My PhD student worked on the in vitro antioxidant properties of 3 popular spices. You know them: Xylopia ethiopica, Papa guinensis, the one in Igbo we call Osisa, in Yoruba call it Iyere. We showed that these 3 spices have very potent antioxidant properties, and this was published in Inaugural and Okolie, 2022. And the profile we have to the far left shows that these spice extracts and their combinations, were able to reduce monoxide in frozen beef slices stored for 28 days. If the first profile is untreated, the one on topmost, for each diagram, the topmost one shows untreated. You see the monoxide level is rising indefinitely, but the other ones are the ones treated with spice extracts and combinations, and also BHC. You can see the monoxide level rose and decreased steadily. So it is clear that the use of these spices for preserving fish and meat during storage will reduce tremendously the level of monoxide in this food. Now, using the technique of GS and MS analysis, we were able to identify 11 very important compounds with antioxidant properties in this plant. Prof Okolie and Appiam 2022. The structures of this compound are detailed in the. Moreover, the spice as I've shown before, that was published Okolie and Okolie and Appiam 2023. Now, in other spices, excuse me, we showed that root extract of R. vomitoria reduced monoxide levels in beef during frozen storage. Okolie, Bohemia, and followed in 2011. We also reported the in vitro antioxidant effect of cavacrol. This is an essential oil extracted from the African nutmeg. This was published Bohemia, Okolie, 2021. Now, this finding was very, very important because he earned my PhD student at Bohemia a seconded fellow research fellowship in University of Constance, Germany. Where we try to find the affinity of the compound isolated to a particular important protein, we found that this essential oil cavacrol inhibited lipoxygenase, LOX. Lipoxygenase is the enzyme that causes meat spoilage during storage. And this cavacrol from African nutmeg inhibited this enzyme more than the synthetic antioxidant BHT. In fact, this was what earned my former PhD student, Dr. Bo.
The Germans were so interested that they offered them that scholarship, to that fellowship to study more on this compound. This paper was published in
We also found that our common pepper fruit, these are things that we ignore, we don't eat. Pepper fruit, fantastic antioxidant containing food. We found that the roots of pepper fruit block monoxide production in some fresh beef tissue during frozen storage. Okolie et al. 2014. Mitigation of cadmium toxicity using a plant, Geophylla ovulata. Cadmium is a heavy metal and is a kidney carcinogen, it's confirmed kidney carcinogen. Its toxicity is due to a generation of what we call reactive oxygen species, ROS, and oxidative stress. In 1912, there was an outbreak of a disease in Japan because miners in the mountainous areas polluted the water below with cadmium, and the locals took that water and they had this excruciating pain.
Joints and spine, as the walking, they were saying, it in Japan means it hurts. That's what cadmium does. Studies have shown that natural surface and underground water contain high levels of cadmium.
Find out. So cadmium exposure in man can rise from drinking cadmium contaminated water, eating foods that are grown in cadmium tainted soils, and for those who smoke, beware, because the tobacco plant is an avid accumulator of cadmium. We found that this plant, Geophylla ovulatum, was able to reduce, to protect cadmium-fed rice from liver and kidney damage due to its antioxidant properties. And this produced two very good publications, Inaugural and Okolie 2018, Inaugural and Okolie 2020. The mechanism involved is that this extract activated antioxidant response genes, and it's also suppressed a protein which we call kidney injury molecule, which is usually overexpressed when the kidney is damaged. And it inhibited the activity of kidney metallothionein, MT1, metallothionein 1. This is a protein that binds cadmium. By binding cadmium, it delays cadmium excretion,
accentuating kidney damage.
Thank you. Now, using SPSC, we identified 8 important bioactive compounds in this extract. Now, 2 of these compounds, note, heparin and sapogenin, were found to be very potent inhibitors of kidney injury molecule and metallothionein. This was published again Inaugural and Okolie 2021. That profile shows that the binding pose showed that heparin targeted and was bound to metallothionein. The second one shows that sapogenin bound to what we call KEEP domain, which will make it to activate the antioxidant response gene. Studies on dimethylnitrosamine. This will make some people sad, but we'll have a remedy. Okay, nitrosamines are hepatotoxins that are carcinogenic and they are mutagenic. They cause what we call hepatic fibrosis. Fibrosis is marked by the position of extracellular matrix proteins such as collagen and hyaluronic acid. Those who eat suya, beware. Those who eat suya, beware. Suya contains a lot of nitrogen.
Apart from that, nitrosamine have been found. These are studies done.
Beverages, they are contained in cured meat, preserved fish, palm wine, nunu, pito, burkutu, and ogogoro. These things contain nitrosamine. But the good news is that bitter leaf has strong antioxidant properties due to the presence of vitamin C. Ushenobu and Okolie 2016, Agua and Okolie 2017. And we found that bitter leaf and soursop, another molecule, reduced nitrosamine-induced fibrosis in rat. This is very fundamental. Ushenobu and Okolie 2016, Ushenobu and Okolie and there is 2015A, Ushenobu Okolie and there is 2015B. Therefore, eating soursop and our bitter leaf can protect the liver. You can eat suya as you like, so long as you take these 2 plants. You protect yourself, okay? The first one was liver section for a rat treated with another mercata, that's soursop. Soursop was administered first before nitrosamine. You can see the liver section is just normal. Second one was given atrazomine without soursop. You can see the severe parenchymal hemorrhage and necrosis. Simply put, liver damage. Now, look at this plant. Please, if you have seen this plant anywhere, avoid it. This plant is cycas plant. Some people put it in houses, some people use it for landscaping. Cycas is carcinogenic. It contains a compound which we call cycas. And this cycas, which we call sarcacin, which is a hepatotoxin and colon carcinogen. We found a soursop extract. We can see soursop there. This soursop extract reversed sarcacin-induced oxidative stress and protected rats from sarcacin-induced colon cancer. If you watch, soursop is so expensive now. People have come to realize that soursop
has very potent anti-cancer properties. The studies we did, in fact, one of the persons in our research group is a professor of pathology who was amazed at what this soursop can do. Please buy soursop, no, plant soursop, okay? So that was published in Okolie.
Moreover, soursop showed potent antioxidant properties, agua and Okolie 2017. Now, the ethanol extract fractions of the fruits and leaves of soursop produced in vitro, this is very important, in vitro anti-cancer effect on cancer cell lines. These are confirmed cancer cell lines. And also reduced the levels of integrins, which resulted in cancer cell death. Ago, Okolie, 2017. Moreover, the extra reverse cycas-induced increases in plasma, high sensitivity C-reactive protein, and carcinoma embryonic antigen. Don't mind this. These two are usually associated with colon cancer. And also boosted colon antioxidant status, Okolie, Ago, and Okolie 2017b. Now, using a variety of techniques, we were able to isolate a new acetogenine, which we named 15-acetylguanacone from this fraction. Ago, Okolie, 2017b. And we found that this new compound we isolated produced anti-cancer effect by binding to vascular endothelial growth factor 2, which cancer cells need for invasion and metastasis, and also alpha-1 beta-2 integrin. Ago, Okolie, 2017b. Now, this is the structure of that new compound that we isolated, 15-acetylguanacone, is a potential drug candidate. And this shows that 15-acetylguanacone targeted and was bound to the active site of vascular endothelial growth factor 2. And that's the three-dimensional structure of the compound. Studies on arsenic. Please be wary how you buy fruit juice drinks.
And groundwater contain high levels of toxic elements. For instance, arsenic. Arsenic has been linked to cancer.
Arsenic toxicity is first of all marked by excretion of rice water diarrhea. That's diarrhea resembling rice water, the milky color of rice water. Okay, it causes vomiting and nausea. That's arsenic poisoning. I think NAFDAC should screen before they license anybody to sell water. They should carry out in-depth analysis because there are so many toxins in the environment. Now, arsenic exposure have been linked through drinking arsenic-containing water have been linked to cancer and skin lesions. Many popular drinks, studies have shown, studies by Mother Busher et 2007, studies by Ogulana et 2015, have shown that many of the popular food drinks that we have in Nigeria contain high levels of arsenic. Soya milk, orange juice, apple juice, cream soda, pineapple juice, malt drink, etc. Okay. In fact, in one particular La Casera, the level of toxicity higher than the minimum value. Now, in a series of elegant experiments of my PhD student, we found that mango is the junior brother of ogbono. It does not draw, but the stem bark is highly medicinal. We found that this extract protected Wisera from ascending toxicity due to its potent antioxidant properties. Ewere and Okolie 2018, Ewere Okolie 2019, Ewere Okolie 2020, Ewere Okolie 2021, Ewere Okolie 2021B. Recommendations. Institutes to harness the medicinal potential of locally available herbs and roots with a view to developing newer, more affordable and more effective drugs. Lecturers should be well paid to avoid losing them to other countries that appreciate their work. For many of my students, I've signed them off. They're in US, they're in Germany, they're in UK. No apologies. There should be a ban on the unhealthy practice of using cabaya to bleach fruits to make them appear ripe. Healthier food habits and practices should be adopted, including regular intake of antioxidant vitamins. Conclusion. This lecture is an encapsulation of my modest research efforts on the toxicity of some toxins, poisons, and carcinogens to which Nigerians are regularly exposed, either through the food, water, or environment, and the protective effect of antioxidants in locally available herbs and spices. My research produced odorless low cyanide fufu from cassava through controlled fermentation. Moreover, food spoilage and monoxide levels were reduced during cold storage of meat using the various spices that you saw before, oziza, oda, and all that. The antioxidant compounds identified in these plants are potential drug candidates. Of note are the anti-fibrotic effects of soursop and bitter leaf and the anti-cancer effects of soursop in cell lines and sarcasine-induced precancer changes in colon. We identified a new acetylcholine 15-acetylguanicone for non-muricata and inhibited cancer progression, inversion, and metastasis. Therefore, herbs and spices, as I admitted before, are indeed on our side in spite of the diverse sources of human exposure to toxins, poisons, and carcinogens. To deliver this lecture. My gratitude also goes to former VC Professor Adamu Baike, who ensured that as a university scholar, I received adequate care and medical attention in 1980 by insisting that I be put in the air-conditioned side room of EBT Orthopedic Ward B2, where with my broken leg in plaster, I wrote my final year examination, defended my BSc project, and still managed to maintain my position by coming top of my 1980 graduating class. Department role model and Professor Goshukwu, who ensured that I was hired as graduate assistant in 1980, despite stiff opposition. Much thanks to my other teacher, former VC Emeritus Professor E.S. Wanze, who made me develop a everlasting love for physical biochemistry and biochemical calculations. And to late Professor A.U. Osage, who supervised my BSc project and took over supervision of my PhD work when Professor Goshukwu had to leave suddenly to take over appointments and as an ambassador to Jamaica. Most data presented here came from collaborative research with colleagues in other departments and faculties, Professor Aligo and Professor Eze, pathologist, Professor Uku, chemist, Professor Ashoyan, optometrist, DVC Professor Zola, pharmacologist and toxicologist, former DVC Professor Falodi and Professor Igbe, pharmaceutical chemist, Professor Igbe, microbiologist. I appreciate you all. I thank my colleagues in the Department of Biochemistry, retired and serving, Professor Sobi, Onagbe, Owade, Oneke, Osubo, Irian Remu, Omorege, Oroye, Mafido, Agoroyo, Adaipo, and many Bowadia. Doctors Ojaburu, Beni, Olasayende, Kissinger, Owansoje, Abu, Alaboso, and Adege, Erumse, and Osareti. Thanks to regional lecturers and all administrators and technical staff. Special appreciation to members of my cultural group. Before beginning to lecture, you know. Before beginning, Professor B.A. Obiora. I appreciate the assistant of Professor Hassan Oyahina and Professor Mrs. H. Obo, attend the parish priest and assistant parish priest. And the priest in residence, my fellow Eucharistic ministers, and the entire congregation of St. Albert's Catholic Church, University of Benin. So Ushinobu, who has occupied every key position at Iyamo, except VC. Ushinobu, are you here? Professor Ushinobu? My family is a professional. Dr. Agu is a Dr. Ewore, Dr. Evo Iserere Ebohon Udoka, Dr. Bohime, the Zuconnect scholar, Mrs. Wani Avan Erumse, who are not available for PhD defense due to juicy job offers in UK. Apparently, my products are good, they're in high demand. Regards to Benga, Mrs. Okungbowa, Mrs. Tolude, who will soon defend their PhD thesis, and to Rita Kele, who is still doing her bench work. Thanks to Osagbovo and other Mrs. Thanks to Osagbovo and Dr. Mrs. Okubo. Time will not permit me to mention all my friends in this university for their legion. However, be assured that I appreciate each and every one of you. I salute the president and members of the Snow Staff Club University of Benin, using Professors Eragwe, Yuka, Ifido, and my special in-law, Professor Adeyeku, as contacts. In regards to Capone and members of UBTS Golf Club, especially Professor Zoe Buekwe, Professor Adam, a.k.a. Igbo Hadum. Greetings to all my the visit permits, I shall give a special lecture on Ajinomoto. Finally, to my very first American girlfriend and my loving wife, Dr. Mrs. Okolie. Who has been a great pillar of support. My love for you knows no bounds. You are a rare combination of physical beauty, intellectual activity, and moral uprightness. To my wonderful children, next is Anoma Okolie is here, and Chukwu-Emeka Okolie, Rachel Obanjo Okolie. I say thank you for your wonderful love and support. Thank you all for listening.
Please put your hands together for our inaugural lecturer. Thank you very much. If you have not taken anything away today, remember that you should eat food that is fresh. Women are not happy about that. You have to cook every day. May I now respectfully invite the acting Vice Chancellor for his recap of this lecture. Acting Vice Chancellor.
You agree with me that we have spent a very, very good time here. For your information, my brother, all members of management, they consume fufu. I'm not sure we consume fufu and gari when they are pounded together. The lecturer has told us so many things: poisons, carcinogens, toxins, venoms. They are differentiated them. This lecture is an encapsulation of my office modest research efforts on toxicity of some poisons, toxins, and carcinogens to which Nigerians are regularly exposed either through food, water, or the environment, as well as the mitigating effects of antioxidants present in locally available plants. The harmful agents include cyanide, bromate, nitrosamines, phosphine, arsenic, cyclazine, and NPA, a toxic lipid peroxidation product. For the first time, an odorless, low-cyanide fuel was produced from cassava tubers through controlled fermentation. I was just telling this that this kind of research supposed to be taken out of the university by way of commercializing it so that the society will benefit immensely from it. It demonstrated the mitigating effects of antioxidant vitamins and characterogenesis induced by cyanide and bromate. Moreover, the toxicity of bromate, cadmium, and cyclazine were reduced using locally available herbs and spices. In particular, it demonstrated that MPA levels may be reduced during cold storage of meat and fish through using the Lexia tripellata, a plant that is called ako in Inaugural language, mim in Igbo language, and they call it ataibere in Yoruba. Other plants that we worked on include Xylopia vomitoria, Xylopia atopica, the plant we call Erwala in Yoruba. It's called negro pepper in English, Piper guineensis, Rhapsodilis guineensis, and Aphomum angustifolia. Some potent bioactive antioxidant compounds were isolated from these plants, and these compounds may be useful in the development of new drugs, which may serve as a replacement for the passive carcinogenic synthetic preservatives PHT and BHA. Of particular importance is an anti-fibrotic and anti-stenotic effect of soursop, Annulla bricata, and bitter leaf in nitrogen exposed rats, and the anti-cancer potential of soursop in rats at early stages of cytokine-induced colon carcinogens, as well as in vitro effects in cancer cell lines. A new acetylcholine, 15-acetyl guanidine, was isolated from Annulla bricata, and the in silico studies demonstrated it had low energy binding pores with human alpha-1 beta-2 integrity and an adhesion molecule which mediates intercellular interactions and tumor progression. And with vascular growth factor 2, one of the growth factors required by cancer cells for new vascularization during invasion and metastasis. These findings indicate, in spite of the numerous sources of human exposure to diverse poisons and toxins, herbs are really on our side. You agree with me? Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much. Please, we now invite the inaugural lecturer, and I'd like for the immediate family members of our lecturer to come up stage, please. Please come up stage. Immediate family members. Thank you. Please, as a climb stage, let's put our hands together for the wife of our inaugural lecturer today, Dr. Mrs. Roslyn Fumilayo Okolie. And also we welcome you, Engineer Chukwemeke Okolie. These are the immediate family members of our inaugural lecturer today, Professor Okolie. Thank you very much. We'd also like to welcome a former Deputy Vice Chancellor of our institution, Professor Bona Obiora. Please put your hands together to celebrate him. We welcome you, sir. Thank you very much for finding time to come. We also welcome Vice Chancellor Ekenwa campus of this university. I'm talking about Professor George Erimia Remo. Welcome Professor Maureen Eboyi. Welcome you, Professor Nusa Igafona. Please put your hands together to celebrate this person. Thank you very much. You've been an awesome audience, and I know you've learned a lot today. You are going home with a lot today. It's good to eat fufu, and fufu is not only apple. Anything pounded that you can eat with soup is what the inaugural lecturer today has taught us. That is fufu. We also welcome you, the former Dean of Medicine, Professor Moses Momo. You're welcome, sir. We welcome you, Professor Anthony Ebegbe. We welcome Professor Eric Omobai. He gave his valedictory lecture not too long ago. Please put your hands together to celebrate him. Thank you very much. I saw somewhere the University orator, Professor Mike Omoigirali. Please put your hands together to celebrate him. Thank you. We welcome you, Professor Fidelis, former Deputy Provost, Medicine, University of Enugu campus. Please put your hands together. We're happy to have you here, sir. Please celebrate him all the way from Enugu State. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome to the University of Benin, Unibest. We also have Faith Akini Bosun. Please put your hands together to celebrate her. We welcome you, Professor Paula Dobame. We welcome you, the Acting Director, Alumni Relations, Dr. Stephen Obeki. We also welcome you, Professor John Olumokoro. Please put your hands together to celebrate him. We are happy to have you here, Professor Lajire Ajayi. You're welcome. We also welcome you, Professor Mrs. Esther Okobia. Please don't get to celebrate them, please. Thank you. We also like to welcome Professor Patrick Wadiai. We also welcome Professor Marcel Ohaku. Please put your hands together for him. We welcome you, Professor Chibweze Kalu. We also welcome Professor Elizabeth Egbochukwu. You're welcome back. We also welcome you, Professor Kingsley Ahibe, and everyone here present, friends, families, members of association, religious bodies, we welcome you. And this is how we like to conclude the 306th Inaugural Lecture in the Inaugural Lecture Series of the University of Benin. Please may we be upstanding as we take the Unibed Anthem and the second stanza of the National Anthem. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly remain where you are as the Acting Vice Chancellor will lead all personalities out from the auditorium. Thank you.